piled with rocks and marked with a wooden cross that quickly falls apart. These voyagers cross rivers, go over South Pass through the Rockies, and find they still have the Blue Mountains on their way into Oregon. At the end of the story, there is the relief of having made it across, of seeing the elephant, of making their goal. Often the story stops there, as if that is an end rather than a beginning. For it is just that, the start of the real story. The trail taken is the hyphen between the old life and the new, between what once was and what might to be. Excepting for the Civil War, which has its own set of legends, the Oregon Trail was the great American story until we discovered the Underground Railroad, which has in the last 30 years supplanted the romance of trails west. Yet the trails remain. For me, the Oregon Trail began in Roosevelt Elementary School on North Avenue in Cranford, New Jersey. I sat on the floor, hiding my brown Oxford tie-up shoes as I read through the books on the shelf marked Trails. I moved on to the Cranford Public Library and read Francis Parkman, A.B. Guthrie, Bernard DeVoto, and Wallace Stegner. And yes, I also read Ezra Meeker, who recreated the trail, but backward, from west to east, and wrote a romance about it as well. Then for a time, for me, the trail went cold. Moving to Ithaca, New York, however, I found a state roadside plaque that marked the place where Dr. Elijah White had lived. Missionary to Oregon, it noted. And the trail west was again clear as I followed this very complicated man and his wife Sarepta to Oregon and back. If Odysseus was Polytropos, or a man of many twists and turns, a complicated man, Elijah White might be labeled kakotropos or maltropos, a man of bad or devious ways, a complicated man. In Oregon, White served as a physician at the Methodist Episcopal Mission, where the couple's young child drowned in the Willamette River. Jason Lee, head of the mission, dismissed the doctor on complaint for pressing his female patients. Within this story there was another complicated man, a psychopomp named Lansford Hastings, who contested with White to be captain of the 1842 company heading west. It was Hastings's book touting a trail into California that led the Donner Party to its death. Psychopomp is the Greek word for one who leads others to Hades. But back to Elijah White. Although dismissed from the Methodist mission, he was not through with Oregon. After returning home to Ithaca, he published his memoir, 10 Years in Oregon. This followed the 1838 publication of a book called An Exploring Tour, written by Dr. Samuel Parker, also of Ithaca, who had taken Marcus Whitman west in 1835 to cite missions for the American Board of Commissioners for Foreign Missions, the ABCFM. Parker sent Whitman back to New York to marry Narcissa Prentice, and the newlyweds went west the next year to establish a mission site at Wailapu, near present-day Walla Walla, Washington. They and William Gray, their guide, departed from the Ithaca Presbyterian Church on DeWitt Park in Ithaca. Circles within circles. I came up again and again with an Oregon connection to follow. In the winter of 1842, Secretary of War John Spencer heard of, and possibly read, Dr. White's book, and called him to Washington to learn more about the Pacific Northwest, as its ownership was contested by both the United States and Great Britain. By the time Dr. White left the capital, he had a commission from Spencer to become the sub-Indian agent, and, as White believed, governor of the territory